It would seem like paying for college is like taking out a 30-year mortgage for some students, a mountain of debt handed to you along with your diploma. Well, there are ways of mitigating these costs, and here to share her expertise on this Money Monday is Karyn Cavanaugh, a certified financial advisor and chief investment officer for Carolina's Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, we talk about saving for college. It's hard to think about cost-saving tips for college because that doesn't really exist so much these days. College is just getting more and more expensive.
It sure is. There's no doubt about that. So that's what we have to think about. It's a big economic decision, and we have to think about, well, we might love our dream school, but there could be other options out there. So we have to explore state schools, community colleges,
trade schools.
Right, and absolutely trade schools. And because it really is an economic decision, and it's going to have long-term repercussions on your life. So people have to be very, very careful in their planning for that.
Would you recommend that when people are approaching, when students, parents alike are approaching that time when their kids are going to be applying to colleges, first to decide which one is most cost effective, or is it major driven? Study driven?
Well, I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think you have to always have your eye on the dollar sign as well. And some colleges are better at certain majors. So you may have a major that guides you more towards another school, but you always have to look at what you can afford too.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to take out a mountain of debt if you don't have to.
Yes. So what would you recommend is something that every family should have in their portfolio?
Well, I think it's saving early and automating that saving. So it's just like you're paying your electric bill, just to pay it every single month. Yeah. But I think everybody needs to have a 529 plan.
And what is a 529?
A 529 plan is a way that you can save for college where you put money into an investment account and it grows tax-free until the child is ready for college, or for actually even for education for K through 12 now as well. You can use 529 plans.
That's getting expensive from what I hear.
Right. So with a 529 plan, your money grows tax-free because and you never have to pay tax on the earnings because you put in after-tax money, and then you never have to pay tax on those earnings as long as you use it for educational expenses. And that could be tuition and room and board for higher education. So that's an incredible gift from the government. But it gets even better in that South Carolina has an incredibly good program, Future Scholar, and it's run by Columbia Threadneedle, which is a subsidiary of Ameriprise, and they have a great plan, but anything you put in that 529 plan, it's deductible on your taxes for South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So even if you're paying tuition next week, you can open a 529 plan today and pay your tuition from the 529 plan in a couple weeks and get that South Carolina state tax deduction when you're doing your taxes in April.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Right.
And can you do it for yourself? So let's say you want to continue your education, get a master's degree, go for your PhD, whatever the case is. Can you do that?
Yes, you can.
As an adult?
So if you have a child that's not going to go to college, you can transfer it. You can transfer it to grandchildren. You could transfer it to nieces or nephews, or even yourself. And you can use that money to go get an education for yourself. The only pitfall or downfall of it is if you don't use it for education, you say, I'm taking it out, I'm going to buy a car, well, you're going to get hit with taxes on those earnings plus a 10% penalty.
Yeah. It can work against you, but it can definitely work for you.
Right, because it really is for education. But the education really, and it's for higher education, is also for room and board. So if your children are living off campus, it could go for their housing as well, as long as the price of their housing,
getting
not travel, not things like that. But you can't buy a car with that. But it is pretty broad in that it does cover room and board, as long as that room and board is right in line with what it would cost if they were living on campus.
What's a realistic amount of money that one should be putting into the 529 every month?
As much as you possibly can, because it really adds up over time. And I know from experience, I'm a single mom. I had 3 kids in college at the same time, and the third one just graduated. So
congratulations!
Thank you. But I was able to handle it because I had that 529. I'd been saving all along, and I saw we had some great
children.
Yeah, we had great times in the market, and so the investment gains were incredible. But then also not having to pay tax on those gains was definitely helpful. And then my kids, I also had I encouraged them to take Trident classes. They all three of them went to Wando and Mount Pleasant. They took Trident classes, they took AP classes, so that they didn't have to take as many classes when they were in college.
Yeah, I have to say, I didn't do the 529, but I did that prerequisite at a community college, and that really saved on a lot of time and a lot of money on exponentially more expensive courses in college. So excellent advice. Thank you so much for joining us again, Karyn. Always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Get your 529, folks. We're back after this.